there was a time in my life in which I kind of had this desire that everything just ran smoothly, that everything was easy, and that I kind of just got to sit on the beach sipping cocktails and life would work its way out. And it's interesting because as I have grown and as I've discovered the way the world works, and as I've gone through this process of research over the last few years, I've come to realize that it's these difficult, challenging moments, these moments of real pain and difficulty and struggle, which ultimately mold us and define us and help us grow moving forward. I've come to learn that without these situations, without these things that we have to go through, um, we are unable to evolve and unfold into the perfect version of ourselves. It's natural, I think, to want to sit there and completely relax and kick back. And again, my entire life in my sort of first 25 years was aimed at finding a way to do nothing. Even with my career, the whole thought about my career was that I'm going to work this many years, and when I get to the end of it, I'm going to retire. And when I retire, I can do whatever I want to sit where I'm doing nothing if that's my choice. And it kind of, when I started thinking about it more, that didn't really resonate with me. I got myself into this situation where in which my biggest drive inside was a drive towards getting everything done so I could be in a position where I didn't have to do anything. That doesn't sound enjoyable at all. Where this came from, I don't know. It's like it's if we look at society, we're kind of all given this kind of thing. Do X now and you get Y tomorrow. Work, build a career now and you can retire tomorrow. Work 50 weeks of the year and you can book yourself a 2-week annual holiday tomorrow. It's like we're always living outside of the now. We're always allowing ourselves to get caught up thinking, I'm doing this in order to get to that. And the challenge with that is that you are never in the now. You're never in the present moment. You're always either thinking about the past, which is an inaccurate memory that you have of something, or thinking about the future, which is nothing more than a story you're telling yourself. But again, if you have that way about you, then when something bad or something you perceive to be bad happens, something traumatic, whether it be somebody passes away or somebody just cuts you up in traffic or your husband or wife leaves you or your child gets a bad report card, I don't know, fill in the blank. When this happens, if your view of life is that the now is only going to get me to this place I want to be, this magic destination, then these perceived bad moments can almost be seen as distractions to you getting to the goal you want to get to. Because again, if we're living this life of I have to work in this way to get to this at the end here, then we're creating this non-existent but still existent in our minds, let's say, linear path to get there. I have to do this, and this, and then I can retire at that stage. And something bad happens, you get dismissed from a career that you'd been building for 20 years, and all of a sudden your linear plan falls out the window. Oh my, I can't go in that straight line to get to this retirement state that I wanted to get to. What am I going to do? And this was me. I would be working in my job and it may be quite fragile because I'd have 6 months of great success and then I'd maybe have 2-3 weeks where something would go wrong. I remember there was someone in my family became very ill and it distracted me from work and I didn't make a sale for 3 weeks. And it made me incredibly fragile. It really, really did, because any slight bend in the river, anything which took me outside of this linear path was scary. Because essentially, in my mind, it was taking me further away from this dream destination I wanted to get to. Now, how I've come to learn to see things, or how I've started to see things, and I'm not saying it's the best way, the only way, I'm just saying it's the way that I do, is that nothing's good or bad, which I know is contentious, and I know may annoy people. I had this happen to me, and you're telling me that's bad. How can you even say that? How can you say cruelty to children isn't bad? There's many, many layers here and categories. But in terms of the things that happen to us, they can be seen as painful, let's say, and traumatic in the moment. But they are inherently a bend in the river, more often than not. And if you are only able to look forward in your linear path, then you're not able to see why the river is bending to the left or the right. You're not able to see this wonderful journey it's going to take you on. You just feel yourself being pulled further away from where you want to be. When in truth, that's not it. If we see water run down the side of the cliff, it very rarely goes in a direct straight line. I probably think never, in fact. It finds the path of least resistance, and sometimes it needs to bend to the left and career to the right and meander its way down in this direction and whatever else. And it's because nature doesn't waste energy. It finds the path of least resistance. Now, our minds think in a linear way. So when we're looking at our life unfolding like the water rolling down the side of the mountain, we're expecting it to go in a straight line. And then when it goes to the left or it goes to the right, we think, I'm losing progress, or I'm going backwards, or whatever it may be. But we're really not. We're just unfolding in a non-linear format. And from the human perspective, it can be sometimes difficult to see that. But ultimately, it's those bends in the river. And I think if you look back through your life, you'll probably see this manifest in your existence. It's those bends in the river that normally take you to the most beautiful and unexpected of outcomes. And without those bends in the river, we may not be exposed to some of the more beautiful and fantastic and profound aspects of our existence. We just may not get the opportunity. And why? Because if we're following this linear path, then we're restricting our journey in life to the capacity of our thinking center. We are removing all of the beauty and the wonder of the universe from the unfolding of our journey, and we're just limiting it to our mind. It's pretty crazy. So these bad things, while they may be traumatic, inevitably are just a different type of thing. They're not good, they're not bad. It's your perspective that makes it that. If we look at the married couple, say the wife really wants a divorce, the husband really doesn't. The divorce is granted. These two different perspectives, one is overjoyed and liberated, one feels like they've lost a limb. The same thing happened, it's just they have different perspectives. And this is incredibly powerful. And what I've come to learn is when you're able to view it like that, and when something traumatic happens, you become less emotionally engaged and attached to it. Like now my instant reaction is not to react to something. It's to say, okay, that was unexpected. I'm being taken in a different direction here. Why am I being taken in that direction? What's happening over there? And it kind of switches my alert on. I'm then more trying to spot the lesson or the message or what's happening here. Now, if you don't do this, it sounds abstract and it sounds kind of vague. But when you tune into it and when you get going with it, it's incredibly powerful. It's this sense, this guiding, like an inner compass which pulls you towards where you need to go, whether that be left, right, up, down, inside or out, it doesn't matter. So I think to draw a summary here, because I feel like I've gone around the houses a bit, but to draw a summary here, I think the way that we look at things, I think changes our entire experience of reality. So if you find yourself and you would respond to this video by saying, well, you don't know my life, it's really difficult, I have this happening. Perhaps try to take a step back from those occurrences and remove your emotional attachment from them and just have a look at what really happened. Remove the story, remove the detail, take a look at what happened. As soon as you're able to do this, you start to be able to, in advance, see the unfolding of the universe. You practice this a bit more and the flow of the river becomes very obvious to you. You can see the lefts and rights in advance more often than not. And even if you don't see them in advance when they come, it feels like they're expected. You just start to get used to the way the universe unfolds. And that's when things become beautiful and effortless. And that's when you don't have any perceived negatives in your life and you live in the present and it's all very beautiful. You appreciate the only thing that's real, and that is now. So, from me, 10-minute thought for the day there. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.